So right off the bat, I would like to say, yes, I am trying something different with the audio. So if you're hearing the audio slightly differently than the other videos, that's why. All right, so for starters, Happy New Year's. Let's go ahead and get right into these videos without any breaks. The year is really ending, huh? Honestly, thank you God. Like, you guys have been really amazing. Okay, so I do need to state we are a little bit behind in in Juliette videos, but let's go ahead and target those for now.
We finished 300 chapters, you guys.
That's
crazy.
She is past 300.
I don't want to finish the series.
Aww.
At the beginning, I was like, oh, this is such a long series. Like, how long is it going to take me to finish it? I don't want this to end. He was on it, and they pushed him down. He was on top of them for 10 years because he was way too scared to get down from that height.
Oh, she's talking about the guy on the stilts, right?
And Luffy is the one telling him, are you an idiot? Luffy, you're not one to talk here. Zip it. Chopper has this quirk where every single time somebody's injured or passed out or in danger and in need of doctor, he's like, somebody call a doctor. And then he's like, wait, that's me, I'm the doctor. This dumbass old age man who has been stuck on the bamboo trees for 10 years came down to his house. He's talking about some village, but there's no village. I'm confused. That's normal. But okay. He ate this aged milk that turned into a cheese ball that's rotten and whatever. And he's eating it, talking about something. You guys are delicate kids. This is such a cool concept. So the island is called Long Ring, Long Land. It's like a tongue twister. All right. This island is actually shaped like a ring, but it's normally divided by the sea into 10 islands. However, once every year, when the tide is at its lowest, and only for a few hours.
I am curious though, is Long Ring, Long Land the weirdest island we've seen in One Piece? I would say I am willing to wager that the weirdest island we've seen in One Piece is probably the ones that were pooped by the goldfish. You guys remember that fish that poops island? So probably that one. Can you think of a weirder island in One Piece? I'm curious.
The islands reveal their true
Skypiea. There's also Skypiea, so probably that.
Shape as one giant ring-shaped landmass. Using that window, every 3 years we migrate from one island to another. And he got left behind because he was on the bamboos for 10 years. Whoa. The horse waited for him, Sherry. For 10 years, that's a loyal horse. Gunshot? Foxy the Silver Fox. Foxy Pirates Captain, bounty 24 million berries.
Okay.
Porsche, Foxy Pirates Warrior. Don't tell me you don't recognize my face. Oh no, boss, don't get depressed. He's lying. I'm sure he knows. What? We got a sensitive gangster there.
Okay, fair enough.
Oh, they recognize him. That's a little pride. Monkey D. Luffy with a bounty of 100 million berries. Renoir Zoro worth 60 million berries. A minor gang of 7 with a total bounty of 160 million is pretty impressive.
Okay, 160
Foxy Pirates
million.
Challenge you, the Straw Hats Pirates, to a 3-coin. What are you talking about? Hurry up, come at me. Luffy does not want to talk to him.
Aww.
Davy back fight? What does that mean? Not that game. We'll lose our companions.
Okay, so we're learning about Davy back
What does that
fights.
mean? To start reading long.
That's interesting.
We hit 50k today. I woke up to 50k on my account.
At the point of this video, I believe she's somewhere around like 60k. So, you know, she's getting all her videos currently are about One Piece. So, you know, she's becoming a One Piece talker instead of a book talker, which isn't too bad. It's honestly kind of nice.
She was congratulating me. Oh my god, are you guys sure you want to follow me? Are you sure you want this? Anyways, this is an arc that you guys have been really excited for, Water 7. I think Long Ring, Long Land extend to this because I finished it yesterday and I didn't even dare open this. I binged basically Skypiea. Like, I read it in a week. I don't know how many volumes that is. I think it's 9 volumes.
Oh, okay.
I couldn't put it down. It's my favorite arc that I've read so far. Even Saga, we could just say. And I'm just so excited to keep reading. I'm glad that you guys are liking this as much as I am. I have a feast tonight. Like, we're eating good. We're reading good. There's hot chicken.
Oh, when she said, I thought like she meant like she cooked something. Okay, Dave's hot chicken, not bad.
It's just like in the span of 2 months, you changed my life. Not only did I get a really beautiful recommendation, my first ever manga, but like I'm just having the best time of my life at the end of this year.
Not bad. I'm excited. I'm glad to see your growth. I look forward to seeing the other I guess manga she'll be doing in the future. I doubt she'll do much anytime soon. Maybe in 2026, which is like a day from now.
I'm currently reading Long Ring Long Land.
Again.
And even though I'm bored out of my mind, this is the first time ever since I started reading One Piece that I'm really bored reading an arc. I like how Oda is establishing the relationship between the crew members.
Okay.
For example, Sanji and Zoro are always at each other's throat for some reason. I don't know if it's because they're close in age, or if like they want to be like the men in the crew, or if they like are fighting to be Luffy's second, or like whatever it is, the position that they have in pirate ships. They're always bickering, always like, saying mean things to one another, and it's not like so serious, but they were supposed to be a team against these giants and score a damn goal, and they could not put aside their bickering for 1 second until they were like, they had to snap out of it because they had to get Chopper back. Chopper was taken. They see him as this little pet, bro. They took him, and he was so scared because he sailed because of his team, and imagine him having to be part of another crew against his will. Put aside their differences and their bickering, and they won. But like Sanji, guys, Sanji is a cook. That is his position in the ship, in the crew. Zoro is a swordsman. He wants to be the greatest, and he trains for it every single day. Yet, when it comes to power and strength-wise, I don't think there's a major difference between him and Sanji. Sanji doesn't train. He cooks, bro. He cooks.
Okay, that is... Alright, controversial thought process. Sanji doesn't train as much as Zoro does. And yet, the gap between Zoro and Sanji is not much. What would that say if Sanji put as much training into his efforts of, you know, like kicking and whatnot and fighting as much as, because like Sanji's a cook primarily, you know? So if Sanji put effort into actually fighting as much as Zoro did, do you think he would gap Zoro in terms of like abilities? I think there is a credible argument to be made there. Now, that's not to say Sanji is stronger than Zoro. We know Zoro is stronger than Sanji. They're not that far apart. They're really not. But we know Zoro is stronger than Sanji. But I'm curious, what is the thought process there? Is the gap that far? And I don't think it is. And if Sanji trained, I think there's a credible argument to be made that he would be stronger than Zoro, if not evenly matched.
Durable. He's strong. Like, Nami is a navigator. She has survived, I think, a few injuries, but like nothing crazy. She didn't show any like physical strength insanely the way Sanji did.
Right.
Like they both don't train. They both have like non-physical roles in the crew, fight-wise. Sanji's durable, strong. He once kicked, I believe, like a giant. Was it a dinosaur or an alligator in Little Garden?
Oh yeah.
It's just like he doesn't train at all. Yet he and Zoro have the same levels of strength. And Neto burned him to crisp, mind you. And Sanji got up, put a cigarette in his mouth, and kept fighting. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not enjoying this island much, but they're still fighting. Luffy is still fighting freaking the Foxy Pirate. We won, you guys. Okay, that was stressing me out, bro. Imagine actually like losing a crew member to the stupid game. Thank God the Davy...
Losing a crew member to the Davy back fights. Yeah, no, imagine that. Huh.
Back fight is over. I hated it. I hated every single minute of it. I don't know why I did not like it. But why did the villager recognize Luffy? Does Luffy look like Roger too?
I don't think she likes fights very much.
Like in early childhood? Because we know that Roger visited all the islands, and so...
You guys will probably hear a bus in the background.
How old is Luffy? Wait a minute.
Is that
he 17 here? So was Roger...
hold on. This is like, isn't it Christmas break? People are still going to school? No, that might be a trash. That might be a trash collector. I don't think that's a school bus. It sounds like a school bus. Sorry, my bad. Let's back to the story.
17 when he came to Long Land. I hate this name. Is he like mistaken Luffy with Roger because everybody says that they have the same hair? This is the same guy that was cycling on water! Okiji! You've returned into a pretty woman, Nico Robin. She looks terrified, mind you. They're all worried about her. Oh my god, I love this crew so much. I wish I was part of it. I wish I was part of them. What's the matter? Do you know this guy? This girl looks terrified. Just laying down in front of them and trying to go to sleep? Came to verify Nico Robbins' whereabouts after the disappearance from Alabasta.
Okay.
As expected, she's with you guys. Luffy's about to beat him up. She's just speechless. Is he gonna use the giant sea monster? He's the master of the seas? I'm currently reading
Dang, that's it? We don't get any detail about what she thinks about Aokiji? I mean, okay. All right. So, this one is a bit... Oh my gosh, this is going to be a long video. Cherry cheddar. Miss All Cherry, my bad. Now I got to react to a very long video about her deep dive on Enies lobby. Okay. All right. I'm just doing this so I can see the Gear 4 part.
Hello, you guys. How are you?
Hey.
Listen, okay, I had every intention of going over Enies lobby first, and I will, but I just finished the post Enies lobby arc, and I just have so many things that I am thinking about and want to discuss. Your bookshelf
looks a lot bigger.
So I figured
I think the reason why I never knew it was bigger is because every time I always see you in like the portrait mode, you know, in the vertical, you know. So, interesting. You got it's a huge bookshelf.
This first while it's fresh, and then go back and do Enies lobby.
Okay.
This arc was just incredible. It's very short. It's only like 10 chapters, but there is so much information.
Enies lobby is only 10 chapters.
Critical moments that happen here.
I think she means post Enies lobby.
And the Water 7 Enies lobby saga. So let's just jump right into it. We start with Frankie saying that he spent the 200 million berries that he stole from the crew to purchase this wood from a jewel tree called Adam. And it is this very tough, rare wood, and it occasionally will be sold on the black market. So he bought that wood, and it is the same wood that the Oro Jackson was built from, which is what Goldie Roger sailed in. It was the only ship to sail around the globe.
All right. So another thing is I've seen a lot of people comment saying, why do you sound surprised, or why do you fake being surprised when these guys are saying things that you already know? Because everybody knows I'm caught up on One Piece, and I know pretty much nearly everything there is to know about One Piece. Well, here's the thing. These book talkers are not caught up. There are some people who watch these videos that know these book talkers are not caught up. And then there's some people who also watch who also are not caught up, okay? Because those people are not caught up, I want to go at their pace. I am only going to, if somebody told me they were only at Marineford, I'm only going to react to them as somebody would if they were at Marineford. I'm not going to tell them about what happened in Dressrosa or say, oh, just wait till you see. No, okay? I want to enjoy the journey with them, okay? All right? Okay? Just like, it doesn't take away from the fact that they're still enjoying it, all right? And it also doesn't take away from the fact that we all know what happens. She's enjoying Enies lobbies. If you look at the comment section of her videos, it's people talking about how amazing Enies lobbies is and how cool her reaction is to it. That is no different than what I'm doing. Guys, so calm down, okay? I need you guys all to calm down and stop being annoyed that I am going on the journey with each book talker. I got hair in my mouth. What the freak? Oh my gosh.
So he wants to build his dream ship with this wood and give it to the crew, which I think is just so cool.
Oh, so like
kind
a
of
gift.
His way of thanking them and apologizing for everything that they've gone through, whether from him or someone else. And then we find out this crazy lore drop. I was not expecting it at all. So this vice admiral comes to Water 7 in search of the Straw Hats, and he finds them, and we find out that Vice Admiral Garp is Luffy's grandfather. I was not expecting this at all. I totally thought that it was Goldie Roger. I thought he was Luffy's grandfather. So to find out that his
wait. So then is Goldie Roger the dad? And then how long ago did Goldie Roger die? Okay.
Some guy in the Navy. I was completely shocked. And it's quite funny to see them interact because they are very similar. So they argue and they love to eat and fall asleep and just be chaotic. And while Admiral Garp is here, we find out a lot of information from him as well.
Okay.
So he talks about Shanks and how he shouldn't have left Luffy with Shanks so much because, he influenced him. He was a bad influence because he's a pirate.
So Garp knew that Luffy was hanging around Shanks so much? He's like, that's cool. That's so cool. Well, I mean, no, is that really cool? I feel like that's bad parenting. Like, hey, you're hanging around this pirate. That's okay, I guess.
And Luffy gets very defensive and he says, well, listen, do you even know who Shanks is? He is one of the 4 emperors of the second half of the Grand Line. So there's Shanks and Whitebeard, and then we don't know the other 2. But essentially, the Navy and the 7 warlords of the sea are allied against these 4 emperors, pirate emperors. So I thought it was quite interesting that Shanks was one of these 4 emperors. Whitebeard doesn't surprise me, and I guess I shouldn't be surprised about Shanks, but we've just seen so little of him.
So, like,
it's just very interesting to see that he's...
So the entire Marine force and the warlords are gathered together to defeat just 2 people? Shanks and Whitebeard? Interesting, okay.
So powerful. So then we see Kobe and Helmeppo. Okay, so timeline-wise, it's only been like 2 or 3 months, maybe, since Luffy last saw Kobe, and they're completely different. So I don't know what kind of Marine Navy training. I mean, we saw it in the cover stories, and it was quite funny, but to see such a drastic difference in such a little amount of time was so hilarious. I felt like Luffy. I had no idea who I was looking at when he first came on screen, or, when I first saw him. So after that shock, we then get more lore on Luffy, and we find out that the revolutionary Monkey D. Dragon is Luffy's father, who we saw in...
The guy from Logtown? Wait. Hold on. The guy from Logtown? So then, he's not... Who's Goldie Roger then?
Logtown. He is who helped Luffy escape from Logtown. I am just... My mind is blown. After the extreme emotional devastation that we were put through in Enies Lobby in Water 7, we get rewarded with all of this amazing world building and lore drops. I am eating it up. It is truly the best way that he could have made me forgive him, because I was very upset at
fair
what
enough.
he put me through. So I have since been told that the revolutionaries are not pirates. The revolutionaries are a separate faction that are actively fighting against the world government. And I find this very interesting because
there's a third faction,
literally
like
just
rioters,
declared war on the world government by shooting down their flag in Enies Lobby. So the fact that his father is the main guy actively, leading this group against the world government, I mean, like father, like son, I guess. But I do find it interesting that Dragon isn't a pirate, so he's just a revolutionary.
Okay.
So now that Luffy has declared war on the world government, does this make him a pirate revolutionary? I don't know. Just a lot of interesting information here. So after they kind of part ways for a minute, Kobe wants to talk with Luffy alone. So they go to talk, and Nami, in her classic nosy spy fashion, hooks up a transponder snail so she can spy on their conversation.
Okay.
And Luffy asks how they got to the Grand Line, and we find out that the Navy ships are able to sail through the Calm Belt because they are embedded with Sea Prism Stone, which I guess kind of neutralizes the Neptunians and allows them to pass through. Which, honestly, is such a cheat code. Like, of course the Navy would have something like that.
Fair enough, yeah.
But, considering just everything, it would explain why they're able to just appear very quickly. So I found that very interesting. And so did Nami. And Kobe also tells Luffy that there is a doctor named Dr. Vegapunk who has kind of a professional on devil fruits, a scientist with devil fruits. And he has recently found out...
So, is he like a devil fruitologist? A devil fruit astronomer? I don't know. That's cool.
How to feed devil fruit to inanimate objects. So I wonder then if he is the scientist behind Funkfried, the sword who ate the elephant fruit.
Elephant fruit.
So I wonder, because, you know, obviously Spandam was Navy, so I'm very curious if this Dr. Vegapunk allowed him or created this sword for him. So I'm very interested to find out more about the devil fruits and all of that lore in general. It's just so fascinating to me. So then Kobe also says that the second half of the Grand Line is called the New World, which, as we just learned, is where all these 4 emperors are. So it's definitely the big leagues. We are starting to look ahead, and things are getting more intense.
So we're big now.
So Kobe then says that he wants to become an admiral, and he hopes to see Luffy again in the New World. And Luffy encourages him in this. He wants him to become an admiral and become a worthy adversary. And I love this moment. And I find it quite interesting that, you know, because we've seen so many terrible people in the Navy and the Marines and the military. So the fact that there's somebody like Kobe, who I believe genuinely has a good heart and a strong sense of justice, the fact that he still loves Luffy and respects Luffy and wants him to succeed while also wanting to be the one that captures him one day, I find it to be a very wholesome rivalry and friendship, and there's a lot of respect embedded in both sides. And I don't know, I just think we're finding just a lot of dual minds within the military, and it makes sense because not everybody is going to be the exact same. But I find, and we'll talk about this in just a minute, but with Aokiji, please tell me if I'm butchering
Aokiji.
Kuzan.
It's hard
We're
to pronounce.
See this with him as well.
You could just say Kuzan.
You know, he's
just
not
say Kuzan.
Completely in line with the Navy's belief systems, and even with Vice Admiral Garp, it kind of seems like there's like an old school approach, a new current mindset, and then kind of a hope for the future, right? So I feel like Kobe kind of fits into that potential for a new future of the military, where they might be able to, you know, kind of successfully coexist with pirates, right? And then there's those who are completely allied with the world government, which would be like Spandam, right?
Wait. So like Miss Allcherry, right? So since Goldie Roger like ushered in a new era of piracy, you know, he's like, find a One Piece, and then there were people who went out there to become pirates, and then they, you know, like we got Luffy and a few, like maybe like 1 or 2 pirates that are good. It feels like some of the other pirates are really bad, right? And I mean, I guess Shanks is good, right? Shanks is kind of good, I guess. I don't know. He seems to be against the world government, so I don't know. But like, since Goldie Roger caused Luffy, who has a good sense of justice and wants to, you know, find a One Piece, Garp, I guess, caused Kobe, who also has a good sense of justice and wants to lead the Marines. So like, is Garp like is Garp the Roger of the Marines? So like, Roger is like the pirate king. So is Garp the Marine king, the Navy king? That's cool. I don't know. I just thought about that.
And then kind of maybe old school, which kind of seems like Vice Admiral Garp, who, you know, he doesn't necessarily want to coexist with pirates, but like, it's his grandson. He's not gonna, you know, he cornered Roger several times, which I find is very interesting. So he's quite powerful if he was able to do that. So I don't know. There's a lot introduced here.
Interesting.
There's a lot of different pathways and theories that are just kind of floating in my brain. And that's why I wanted to make this video while it was fresh, because I just want to get my thoughts out in the open. So after Luffy and Kobe part ways, they kind of throw this massive big party to celebrate. And while Robin is kind of watching the festivities here, she is visited by Aokiji, and they have this kind of tense but interesting and fascinating conversation where Aokiji tells Robin that he was good friends with Saul, the giant who allowed her to escape, or helped her to escape. And he wanted to make sure that he did not die in vain and that she went on to honor his death, right? And so he asks her if she's finally found a place in the Straw Hats where she can belong, and she says that she has. And he tells Robin to go and live and to prove that O'Hara is still alive. And I just find that such an interesting conversation.
Okay,
I genuinely believe, again, Kuzan is kind of another enigma within the Navy. And on some of my other videos, you guys said that his, Aokiji, the blue pheasant, I believe, stands for lazy justice. So he kind of, it's a looser sense of justice.
I don't think he stands for lazy justice. I don't think so. I don't know where that statement came from, but I don't think that fits. Because he's not lazy with justice. No, he's not lazy with it. No. I think he's genuinely, if anything, I think it's more like righteous justice. Or I would say indifferent justice. This is not lazy just because he's not being lazy. This is a very righteous and very good thing that he just did. Because she was wrongfully, like her island was wrongfully like massacred, for studying history. And he's saying that, hey, live on the memories of Saul, my friend, and also your people who were massacred. I don't think that's lazy justice. If anything, that sounds like either indifferent justice or righteous justice.
His compass is it's not fixed on one point, right? He very much,
I think he has a good moral
has a
compass.
looser sense of what he believes is justice, and it's not completely aligned with what the main core of the world government and the military says that it is, which I just find very interesting. And clearly that's not the same with the other admirals, as we saw with the other guy, starts with an S, who blew up the refugee ship. He's
Sakazuki,
a lot more
I think that was
with
his name.
Spandam. But he's on an admiral level, which is scary. But I just found his character very interesting. I'm very interested to see what becomes of his character as this goes on. But there's a lot of layers to him, and I was very actually pleasantly surprised by this conversation that he had with her. So then we cut and we see that Shanks has arrived to meet Whitebeard.
Oh.
And we find out a lot here as well. Shanks's aura, by the way, is completely powerful and terrifying. People are passing out as he walks by.
I love Shanks.
And we find out that Shanks and Buggy were apprentices on Roger's ship, and that they regularly encountered and fought with Whitebeard.
Okay.
We also find out that Shanks dueled with Hawkeye, and when Whitebeard asks what took his arm from him, Shanks responds and says that he gave it up for a new era, and he's picturing Luffy when he says this. And again, all of this kind of
so Shanks is not a bad guy
with Luffy, where a bunch of people are just kind of, we keep hearing about this new age and this new era of pirates. We saw it with Doflamingo back at the beginning of Long Ring Longland.
Okay.
When he talks about, there's a new age of pirates where only the powerful survive, where only the powerful can exist. But then there's also all of this with Luffy, right? And there's strong ties to Luffy and Roger.
Oh my gosh.
Again, there's this big sense of freedom, where Luffy means freedom for pirates, right? Freedom from the military, freedom from the confines and the fighting and the limits that kind of each group is within right now and are trying to enforce upon one another. So it seems like Shanks is really putting a lot of his chips on Luffy here, betting and sacrificing a lot. So I'm very curious to see kind of what his future plans and hopes are for Luffy.
Okay,
in the future of pirates. So we find out the reason why Shanks is here to confront and talk to Whitebeard.
Okay, that's it. Miss Allcherry, once the New Year celebrations and stuff are all over, we gotta have an interview. There's a few arcs coming up that I gotta interview you first before you reach those arcs, okay? We gotta have an interview, okay? We gotta talk. I'm gonna try to set it up with you. Oh my gosh. I want to discuss your theories. Oh my gosh. Oh, we gotta talk.
He's got these scratches on his eye.
Okay.
And we find out that
he
had a fight with Blackbeard. And he is there to beg Whitebeard to stop Ace from hunting down Blackbeard. He says that Blackbeard is very dangerous. He's not the type that should be taken lightly. And Whitebeard refuses because he says that he has committed the ultimate pirate sin. He's committed fratricide. That he needs to be taught a lesson.
What is that?
So Shanks and Whitebeard get into a fight, and the minute their swords clash, it quite literally splits the sky. So these are two very powerful individuals.
What?
So after this, we cut to Blackbeard. Him and his crew see the article about Luffy and the Straw Hats and how they're at Enies' lobby. So they say that they're close and they want to go hunt for him. And that's when it cuts to Ace. Ace has caught up with him, and it leaves this, you're kind of half excited to see Ace again, but also really nervous, because if Shanks, one of the 4 emperors, is saying that Blackbeard is incredibly dangerous and that Ace shouldn't go after him, and now you see Ace is at this confrontation, it makes you really worried and nervous. So we stop at this point, and then we cut to Usopp rehearsing how he's gonna rejoin the crew. And he goes through several things, and Sanji's there listening, and he's like, what is this idiot doing? And so from then on, we learn that the next stop is Fishman Island, which is where I guess Kokoro and Tom were from. They're kind of fish people and mermaids. And then we also learned that to get to Fishman Island, they have to sail through the Florian Triangle.
What is that?
It's very dangerous. Obviously, it's an allude to the Bermuda Triangle. Kokoro says that there's been plenty of sights and reports of ghost ships fighting and sinking other ships. So very interesting adventure that we're about to go on here. And then we also see that all the bounties have officially raised and come out. Luffy
Sniper King bounty!
300 million. And oh my gosh, you guys, the drawing of Sanji was so funny in Sanji's reaction. And then Sanji and Zoro's interaction here, where Zoro says that it looks just like him, and Sanji is so mad that his words just translate to symbols. It was so hilarious. And then Sniper King was pictured and not Usopp. And
well,
then
we didn't
Chopper
see Usopp.
He had 50 berries, which I thought was quite funny as well. So now they find out that their ship
Where is Sniper
done,
King actually? Hold on. Yeah, where is Sniper King? Where did he go? We see Usopp here. Where does Sniper King go? Huh, I don't know.
Frankie, his family, is asking Luffy and crew to please take Frankie with them because he's the son of a pirate and it's his dream to sail on his ship. So as they start to look at the ship, it is beautiful. It's huge. It's brand new. It's stunning. It's everything the crew could ever want. And so Luffy asks where Frankie is. Iceberg says that Frankie doesn't want to see them because he knows that Luffy is going to ask him to be his shipwright. And if he's there when Luffy asks, he can't say no because it's his dream, but he still carries a lot of guilt. So he says that the only way that he's going to be able to get Frankie to join his crew is if they force him.
Okay.
So the Frankie family and crew decide they manage this by taking his Speedo trunks and making him chase them through town to get to Scrap Island.
So he's naked?
He's quite literally just streaking through Water 7. And one of the really funny part was like, you pervert, I hope you get the death penalty. It's such a crackish scene, honestly. And then, so he gets there and, he's kind of fighting the crew and he doesn't want to get on. And then Robin straight up just grabbing them and crushing them. I was not expecting that. Honestly, it feels like she's such a big sister of the crew now, I feel like. It's so funny, and she's smiling while she does this. It's just so nice to see her relaxed and having fun. So we have this whole big scene about, Iceberg tells Frankie that he has to forgive himself for what happened to Tom, and, he pretends to cry, or he pretends that Robin is hurting him again so that he has the excuse to cry, and he doesn't want to leave his brothers and sisters and his family that he's made on Water 7, but he so desperately wants to sail on this ship. And it was just a beautiful moment seeing Frankie fully forgive himself, and I just adored it. It was a great moment. So then we get into some serious stuff here. Zoro addresses the crew and says, so then we get into something again more serious here. So Sanji tells the crew that he heard Usopp rehearsing about, rejoining the crew, and everyone gets excited, and Luffy's like, let's go find him, let's go get him so we can get out of here. And that's when Zoro says, hold on. And he has a very serious talk with the crew about how he will not accept Usopp back on the crew or forgive him in any way until he admits what he did wrong and apologizes. And the crew initially fights him on this, and he really cracks down and says that no, Luffy's the captain, he has to be respected. This is not a game, this is not a joke. He blatantly disobeyed and disrespected Luffy, and he needs to apologize, otherwise he's not coming back on this ship. And the crew really doesn't want to hear this, right? They've had a lot of confrontation, they just want things to be good and fine. But he makes a really good point. And while I completely understand and I can see Usopp's pain and insecurities here, he has to take responsibility. He has to take ownership of and be accountable for what he did. And I really love this moment from Zoro because he's got this sense of maturity about him. It's what the crew needs to hear. And it's not something that Robin can say because she's too new to all of this. Zoro is the one that's been with them the longest. So we see a major, I have described it before that Water 7 broke the crew down. And then Enies Lobby reforged them as a family. And it not only has made the crew realize that the enemies that they are facing are extremely powerful and they're only going to get more powerful, but now Luffy has made an enemy of the world government. This is not fun and games anymore. This is a legitimate thing. The crew is, yes, a family, but they are still first and foremost a crew, and Luffy is their captain, and they need to take this seriously. They need to get on the same page. They need to respect Luffy and stay together, and not pull things like this that's going to put them at a serious disadvantage when they get to the New World and they're facing down these pirate emperors and the world government. There's a lot going on. So Zoro is such a good, strong voice of reason and maturity here. I completely agree with him. And it just goes to show it's not a black and white situation, right? And obviously Zoro cares about Usopp a lot, but that's why I think too that he wants him and needs him to take accountability. He knows that Usopp is capable of it, and it's what he needs to grow as a character and as a person. So they wait and wait for Usopp to show up. It's been 2 days and they're getting ready to set out. And then we see that Garp has actually come back. He let him go and then he was forced to come back. So the crew is having to hurriedly get together and get ready to sail out because they're under attack now. Garp's power throws, by the way, are crazy. It didn't say, I don't think, that he had a devil fruit power. So is he just unnaturally strong, or does he have this devil fruit? I need to know. I don't know. Maybe it'll be clarified later on. So Usopp is running through town and he's trying to catch up to them, and he's doing his little, yeah, I'm the first mate, of course, you guys are so lucky to have me back. And this might irritate some people, and and again, he's terrified to come back to them after this big blow up fight, right? And he's been in his Sniper King disguise. He hasn't wanted to deal with this confrontation.
Whoa. What is this Sniper King slander I'm hearing here? What do you mean Usopp is in the Sniper King disguise? Whoa. First, whoa. What do you mean by that?
Back to the crew. He's terrified deep down that they are going to reject him after all of this. So he's going back to his coping methods of lying to make himself feel better. And so he sees them as they're sailing away and he's like, okay, I'm here. Hey, you guys. And no one's responding. They're defending the ship from these cannonballs. And he sits there and says, well, let me say this one thing. And he screams, I'm sorry. And he breaks down and says he's sorry that he's so stubborn. He's like, I know that I said I quit the crew. Can I take it back? Can I please take it back? And he's crying and upset. And you see the specific panel, I think, is Luffy, Sanji, Zoro, and Chopper, maybe. And it's Zoro who says his name. And Luffy extends his hand. And I should also say that before he says he's sorry, Chopper is sitting there going, I hear him, you guys, he's calling, and they don't acknowledge him because they promised and agreed that he needs to say sorry. And Luffy, you can see him sweating, and it's so visibly hard for him, and he says, I can't hear anything. And just the palpable relief on all of their faces when he truly apologizes. So Luffy extends his hand and Usopp grabs it, and they get on board, and Nami's crying, and they're all so happy. And Frankie charges up this super boost, and they're able to blast off and escape the Navy and go on their way. And it's such a fantastic arc, and we're not done. So after they escape and go on their way, we kind of go through this montage of all the different islands and places that they have been, their previous friends and encounters, seeing them have their new bounties on their heads, and they get to see these updated pictures. I loved the bit with Baratier when they see Sanji's picture and they're like passing them out to the customers, and everyone's just so proud. I loved Kaya's, where she said she needs to study her medical stuff so that if Usopp comes back, she can treat his wounds. Dr. Kureha on Drum Island, just happy to see Chopper and see that he's okay. Just such a great montage of moments. I absolutely loved going back everywhere and seeing everybody just for a glimpse. And we also see Dragon, and he says that with Luffy's confidence, that one day they will meet and it'll make the world question itself. So it was very interesting to see Dragon acknowledge the existence of Luffy. I'm very curious to kind of see his plans for Luffy and see what lies there. So then, on this final couple chapters to close out the arc, we go back to Ace and Blackbeard. And Ace and Blackbeard start their duel. Blackbeard had asked Ace if he wanted to join his crew and that they would take over the world together. And Ace is like, absolutely not. And Blackbeard had also said, yeah, and we're going to go after Luffy and these Straw Hats and kill them and, establish a name for ourselves. And Ace says, Luffy? Yeah, he's my brother. So now I'm like double ticked, right? Which I loved seeing that protective edge in Ace over Luffy. So then we find out that Blackbeard killed his crewmate because his crewmate had found something. His crewmate had found his dream devil fruit that he had been searching for literal decades. And it's a Logia type fruit, and it is the dark fruit. So Blackbeard killed him and consumed the fruit, and he now has this very powerful Logia type. And it's darkness, and it like sucks everything in. It's kind of like a void, like a black hole, and it can compress and crush things. And on top of that, if someone has a devil fruit power that he's touching, it gets rid of they temporarily lose their devil fruit power, and Blackbeard gets it. So it's really very powerful, and we're really starting to see what Shanks meant by this guy is dangerous and he's not here for fun and games. He is setting out to make a name for himself. And so Ace struggles a bit in this fight for sure, especially trying to figure out how to deal with this power.
Wait. Hold on. So Blackbeard gave him the scar, gave Shanks the scar. But Shanks had the scar when we first saw him, right? He had the scar when we first saw him when Luffy was a kid. But Blackbeard only recently got the devil fruit. So then wouldn't that mean that Blackbeard was powerful even without the devil fruit? Or was dangerous even without the devil fruit? Huh.
But he's still holding his own, and we see in the final bit that this very duel would later on, we see that it would trigger future events. So this is a massive and pinnacle, critical moment in the story. There is the duel between these two. So there's just so many elements now. I mean, there's Shanks and Whitebeard, there's Blackbeard, there's the revolutionaries, there's the four emperors, there's the world government. It's so crazy. There's so many elements and things going on. So my mind is just blown. I absolutely adored this arc. It was such a fantastic way to end such a great saga, bring so many pieces from other arcs together while giving us a ton of new information to theorize and think on as we go into the next bit, as we encroach on the new world. So I just love this story so much. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, I really apologize. I will go back and go through Enies Lobby. I will post my Skypiea compilation. Before I post this, my Skypiea compilation should be up. I hope you're enjoying those compilations. I apologize. I know they're in portrait mode, but just for those of you who don't have TikTok that wanted to see my initial thoughts and updates and reactions, I appreciate your guys' support so much. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas. I hope you have a wonderful New Year, and I will check in soon with another video.
Aw, Happy New Year's, Miss Old Cherry. That was really good. That was a really good one. I really enjoyed that. Wow. I gotta talk to her. I gotta have an interview and talk to her. But yes, we'll go ahead and leave this video off here, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe, share this video with your family and friends, and I'll see you guys later. Peace out. Stay classy. And thank you, God, for giving me the opportunity to make this video.